Chapter 11, Part 2. I shirk not. I long for work. I pant for a life full of striving. I am no coward, to shrink before the rugged rush of the storm, nor even quail before the awful shadow of the veil. But hearken, O death! Is not this my life hard enough? Is not that dull land that stretches its sneering web about me cold enough? Is not all the world beyond these four little walls pitiless enough, but that thou must needs enter here, thou, O death? About my head the thundering storm beat like a heartless voice, and the crazy forest pulsed with the curses of the weak. But what cared I, within my home beside my wife and baby boy? Wast thou so jealous of one little coin of happiness that thou must needs enter there, thou, O death? A perfect life was his, all joy and love, with tears to make it brighter, sweet as a summer's day beside the Housatonic. The world loved him, the women kissed his curls, the men looked gravely into his wonderful eyes, and the children hovered and fluttered about him. I can see him now, changing like the sky from sparkling laughter to darkening frowns, and then to wondering thoughtfulness as he watched the world. He knew no color line, poor dear, and the veil, though it shadowed him, had not yet darkened half his sun. He loved the white matron, he loved his black nurse, and in his little world walked souls alone, uncolored and unclothed. All men, are larger and purer by the infinite breadth of that one little life. She who in simple clearness of vision sees beyond the stars said when he had flown, he will be happy there, he ever loved beautiful things. And I, far more ignorant, and blind by the web of mine own weaving, sit alone winding words and muttering, if still he be, and he be there, and there be a there, let him be happy, O fate. Blithe was the morning of his burial, with bird and song and sweet-smelling flowers. The trees whispered to the grass, but the children sat with hushed faces. And yet it seemed a ghostly unreal day, the wraith of life. We seemed to rumble down an unknown street behind a little white bundle of posies, with the shadow of a song in our ears. The busy city dinned about us. They did not say much, those pale-faced hurrying men and women. They did not say much, they only glanced and said, niggers. We could not lay him in the ground there in Georgia, for the earth there is strangely red, so we bore him away to the northward, with his flowers and his little folded hands. In vain, for where, O God? Beneath thy broad blue sky shall my dark baby rest in peace, where reverence dwells, and goodness, and a freedom that is free. All that day and all that night there sat an awful gladness in my heart. Nay, blame me not if I see the world thus darkly through the veil, and my soul whispers ever to me saying, not dead, but escaped, not bond, but free. No bitter meanness now shall sicken his baby heart till it die a living death, no taunt shall madden his happy boyhood. Fool that I was to think or wish that this little soul should grow choked and deformed within the veil. I might have known that yonder deep unworldly look that ever and anon floated past his eyes was peering far beyond this narrow now. In the poise of his little curl-crowned head did there not sit all that wild pride of being which his father had hardly crushed in his own heart? For what, forsooth, shall a Negro want with pride amid the steadied humiliations of 50 million fellows? Well sped, my boy, before the world had dubbed your ambition insolence, had held your ideals unattainable, and taught you to cringe and bow. Better far this nameless void that stops my life than a sea of sorrow for you. Idle words, he might have borne his burden more bravely than we, and found it lighter too, some day, for surely this is not the end. Surely there shall yet dawn some mighty morning to lift the veil and set the prisoned free. Not for me, I shall die in my bonds, but for fresh young souls who have not known the night and wakened to the morning, a morning when men ask of the workman, not is he white, but can he work? When men ask artists, not are they black, but do they know? Some morning this may be, long years to come. But now there wails, on that dark shore within the veil, the same deep voice, _thou shalt forego, _and all have I foregone at that command, and with small complaint. All save that fair young form that lies so coldly wed with death in the nest I had builded. If one must have gone, why not I? Why may I not rest me from this restlessness and sleep from this wide waking? Was not the world's alembic, time, in his young hands, and is not my time waning? Are there so many workers in the vineyard that the fair promise of this little body could lightly be tossed away? The wretched of my race that line the alleys of the nation sit fatherless and unmothered, but love sat beside his cradle, and in his ear wisdom waited to speak. Perhaps now he knows the all-love, and needs not to be wise. Sleep, then, child, sleep till I sleep and waken to a baby voice and the ceaseless patter of little feet above the veil.